there, fellow travelers. Mike here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Mexico City, and today we've got for you the don'ts of visiting Mexico City. But let's be honest, a lot of these don'ts are really do's you want to do, but there's one thing I really want to start off with. Don't get overwhelmed when you come to Mexico City, because there is so much to see and do here, but there's also so many people, there's so much going on, the traffic, everything. It's like 24/7 hour rush hour, just insanity, that it can be very overwhelming for travelers. So I gotta tell you, don't forget to plan out your visit when you're here. Don't try to do too much, because you're never going to get anywhere fast when you are here in Mexico City. So maybe plan out a day to go out to the pyramids. Plan out a day to come here in the center to see the cathedral and go around this way. Give yourself a day to explore a neighborhood like Roma, because you're going to need that, because otherwise you're going to get overwhelmed with all the sights, but also with all the people that are here. I mean, this is one of the biggest cities in the entire world, and you can feel it, especially when you're going around, especially if you're on the subway, the metro, during rush hour times. I mean, you want to be aware of that. And so when you are planning, so I'm here in the Zócalo, I'm here, in the historic center. I want to tell you this. Don't miss out on coming down here and taking in the architecture, the history that's here, the museums that are here, the Templo Mayor. You can go see that, where you have the Aztec temple, the ruins that are there. You can go see the museums that are around here. You can go, obviously, the biggest and most important thing is to go see the Metropolitan Cathedral behind me. There's just so much to see and do. Heck, probably the largest Mexican flag you'll ever see in your entire life. It's really cool, but you want to be down here. You want to explore that to get the history, and that's one of the cool things when you come down here. But I will tell you, maybe don't hang out in Centro at night, because you're not going to feel super safe. I will say, if you are going to go to like the Plaza Garibaldi, don't forget to make sure you negotiate the price with the mariachi bands before they start playing for you, because that's something you might do in the evening times here in Centro. But I just want to kind of give you that idea when you are here. Now, there are some quick little things I want to tell you no matter where you're going to go when you're coming to Mexico City. One, don't ever drink the water. You're not going to want to do that, because bad things will happen to you. Montezuma's revenge is real. Use your bottled water, okay? You have that. And believe me, it doesn't matter if you use your bottled water. You might get some tummy aches, so bring your Imodium, bring your Pepto, have that. Also, with the toilets, when you're going around town, maybe not in your hotel, but you go to, maybe when you walk around, you go to the markets, use the restroom, you don't put the toilet paper in the toilet. It goes in the little bin next to the toilet, okay? Not everywhere, but I want you to be aware of that. Now, a safety don't I have for you is don't forget about the altitude, because the altitude, I mean, you're over a mile up when you are here, and if you're not used to those high altitudes, it can be a bit dangerous your first day, so make sure you take the first day a little bit easier, because it can be a bit difficult. And don't forget about the pollution. Yes, you might not see it here, but you'll be able to feel it in your lungs sometimes, so do be aware of that. So give yourself time to adjust, okay? Also, don't forget about the sun protection, because we're so high up here, and I'm here, and it's like 70 degrees. It's a nice little day. I don't think about putting on sunblock or having a hat, which I actually do have in my bag. You want to be careful with the sun when you're here, because it is really intense at this high level. Another thing I think is really important is don't forget to have your pesos. This isn't a pay with dollars thing. That's Cancun. So you want to have pesos when you go out and buy things. But I want to tell you, don't forget to have small denominations, because the taco stands, they're not going to have change for big bills. So we have the small denominations. So if you go to the ATM and don't go to the ATMs out on the street, go into the bank for it. And if they only give you 500s, then go into the bank and ask them if they can give you smaller bills, because that's going to be very important. And another thing I want you to know is, when you come to Mexico City, this is not based on tourism. This is a city that's alive, working. People live here, work here, all kinds of stuff. It's not just based on tourists. So I got to tell you this. Don't expect a lot of English when you're going around to the sites. Now, you will hear a lot of English if you're in places like Roma, which literally is like an expat conclave when you're there, or enclave, I should say. But when you go around the city, English, not all the time. So knowing your basic Spanish from high school will make a big difference. And don't forget, no matter where you go, don't forget to say buenos dias when you go into a store. Buenos noches, which is good day or good evening, because that's one of the things you do here. You have very friendly people, and it's very polite to make sure you say buenos dias, buenos noches, buenos tardes when you go into a store or a restaurant, to kind of ingratiate yourself with the locals and have a good time. Oh, another little don't I have for you with the architecture. Don't feel like you're getting a little off kilter, because yes, a lot of the buildings you notice are a little bit off kilter because it's sinking. You've had the earthquakes. There's buildings that are actually leaning a little bit. So I know Pisa's got the leaning towers, but I think Mexico City beats them with the most leaning and awkward shaped buildings around. So take a look around when you see it. You'll notice some awkward leanings. Now, Mexico City is huge. I want to kind of start with some don'ts in terms of transportation. One, don't ever take taxis from the street, okay? If you do, you want to make sure it's from a taxi stand, okay? And you'll notice the taxi here, they have the pink on them, the white and pink taxis. Those are the official ones. But you want to go to a taxi stand or have your hotel book one for you. But the thing is, what you're probably going to use when you're here is either Uber or Didi. They're both rideshare apps. They can pick you up. It's no big deal. We've taken it late night. They found us in 4 minutes, okay? During the early morning hours getting to the airport, it wasn't a problem getting them. So if you want to just do rideshare stuff, you're going to the tourist things, you'll probably be okay just with that. Now, I will say this, don't think you just want to stay above ground or in like your own private transportation when you're here, because don't forget about the public transportation here in Mexico City. The metro buses, the normal buses that get around, you can take those no problem. But I will tell you this, don't forget to pay attention when you're getting on and off the metro, or if you're one of the times when it's super packed, like people say during rush hour. Well, it's more than rush hour, it's fully packed. You do want to pay attention with the pickpockets when you're there. Also, don't forget about the pickpockets when you're walking around Central, the historic center. You're going to the cathedral, because there's all the tourists are there. There are some pickpockets, so you should be careful with that. And another thing I think I want you to be careful of is if you're going to go out to the Xochimilco canals. You know, the canals out there, you'll see like the colorful boats, the mariachi bands playing. You see it all the time on Instagram and TikTok. When you see those, I want to tell you this, don't go out there by yourself. You want to make sure you have a guide or a local going with you, because you might be taken to the wrong boat per se, where they might charge you a little bit more than you're expecting for the beer, for the music. So do be aware of that. So I want you to be careful with it. But it is cool to go to. So you want to go there and do that, do it. But make sure you have someone going with you so you have that there. Another thing I think I need to mention when you are here is if you're here in Mexico City, I hear a lot of tourists talking about, wow, how affordable it is here, how relatively cheap it is when we're here, and how great Mexico City is. I never thought Mexico City could be so nice. Look, talking about things being cheap here or being surprised in Mexico City, such a cool city, that's one of those things that kind of insults the locals when you're here, because for them, it's not cheap, it's not affordable, okay? And you know what? They know it's a great city, and so if you're kind of making it like, oh, I expect it to be something like filled with banditos or something, it's not going to go over well. So don't think that. This is an international city. It's fantastic. It is a very sophisticated city, and I will say this, don't flash your cash or have your bling out kind of stuff. You're kind of more modest version of things when you are here, because you don't want to make yourself a target. Because honestly, don't forget about the usual tourist trappies when you're here. You know, the mustard scam kind of stuff, or anybody giving you anything for free. It's never for free, so do pay attention to that. And honestly, kind of go along with the safety, but also part of the fun of coming to Mexico City is getting to know the locals when you are here. And I want to tell you this, don't pass up advice from the locals when you're here, whether it's which taco stand you should go to, which restaurant you should go to, which place should you go to the mariachi, or also, hey, maybe don't go to that part of town, or make sure you're out of that part of town before the evening time, because the locals here, it's a big city, but Mexican people and the people from Mexico City are so much fun, so helpful, and they want you to have a good time when you're here. But you as a tourist also, don't forget to take it seriously when they do give you recommendations. Especially when they want to give you some advice. For example, don't forget, here in Mexico City, lunch starts at 2 p.m. Not earlier. Like literally, you might go to a restaurant at 1 and it's still going to have desayuno. It's going to have breakfast stuff, which is great because you have your chilaquiles. But yeah, lunch starts at 2 here, so be aware of that. Also, don't forget, things start late and go late here. So have that kind of planned out in your kind of scheduling when you're going to go to sites, when you're going out to eat. It does take time. I mean, everything takes a bit longer, so you need to have patience for that, because it's not just the time it takes to get places, it's also when you're there, getting your menu, getting seated, getting your drinks, these kind of things. Just be aware of that. And speaking of timing things, I also think it's important to remember to don't forget to pre-book tickets for some of the museums and sites you want to see. Now, it's not always the case, and some things are free to see, but some of the things, like if you want to go to the Frida Kahlo Museum, the Blue House, the Casa Azul, that one you want to pre-book because it does book out. Other museums as well. It just makes things a little bit easier. Also, if there's restaurants you want to go to, don't be afraid to reserve your reservation. And the thing is, if you're not from here, you could probably get reservations relatively early for dinner, like 7 o'clock, because no one's thinking to eat dinner here at 7. That might be able to get you snuck into some of the better restaurants that you couldn't get during normal eating hours. So it's something to kind of think about. Also, one of the best advice we did get, from one of our friends who's from here, Datia, she's like, look, never trust the amount of time it's going to take you to get to the airport. She's left with 3 hours of time to spare, and it took her 3 hours to get to the airport. She missed her flight. Look, you want to be careful with your flights going out, depending when they leave. Okay, so you want to give yourself plenty of time to get to the airport, but also to get through everything at the airport, all right? So do be aware of that. And when you're going around Mexico City, one of the great things is there's all these great museums, all these great art museums, all kinds of fantastic things to take in. But one of the cool things you're going to see around the city are the murals. So don't miss out on the murals when you're here, because there are some really great artists that have been here, but also some street artists as well who've really added some like color to the city. So don't forget to check out those murals. Now let's go see another beautiful part of the city to continue on with our video. Now we're here at Chapultepec, and I gotta tell you, don't skip out on coming here, especially on the weekends. Everybody comes out here, and it's just a wonderful place to be like in nature and be away from it all, but also with tons of people. But what's cool is there's multiple museums here. Museum of Modern Art. You want to go see the children's, like the Science Museum, you can do that. But the biggest one, and you don't want to miss out on, is don't miss out on the Anthropology Museum that is here. It is incredible because it has a collection of the Mesoamerican arts from the Mayans, Aztecs, all over this area, all over Mexico is here, and it is incredible. Though I do have to tell you one thing when you're in there. Also, when you do go to the Anthropology Museum, don't think things like this are actually original. These are reproductions of them. But when you see the things, the monoliths by themselves, those the real deal, okay? When you have big structures like this, you got to go to the actual place in Mexico to go see those, because these are reproductions. Don't think they're the real ones. But regardless, it is such a huge complex. You want to make sure you give yourself some time to see it. So give yourself that time. And if you're looking to not pay to go in, don't forget Sundays are free, so it'll be a little bit of a line. I recommend not bringing a backpack because it gives you another line to wait to give up your bag. So do come and do enjoy it when you come here. This park is amazing with all the museums. They're here. The zoo is here. There's some amusement park that's here. There's so many things you can do when you are here. Children's Science Museum, like I talked about, but honestly, this is probably the greatest park to like be in terms of size, because literally twice the size of Central Park in New York, and people come here and enjoy it. So you get to see a lot of different people. There's going to be people selling food here, snacks, souvenirs, all kinds of stuff, and you'll probably see some cultural events going on too. So don't miss out on coming here. But I also want to say this: don't miss out on exploring the neighborhoods when you are here. Yes, you can go. You can go to Norte, which is where a lot of tourists stay, which is very nice. Polanco's another famous place you can go see when you're there. But there's another. Even if you go to Reforma, which has got more of the high-rise skyscraper kind of stuff, there's tons of neighborhoods you can see, and you want to make sure which ones you go, the right ones for you, which ones aren't for you. But it's cool to enjoy some of the neighborhoods when you're here and getting the kind of vibe of the different neighborhoods, because I'm telling you, when you're in Norte, you really feel like, wow, there's a lot of expats there, but then but it's artsy, but then, and kind of, like eclectic, but then you go into Reforma, and then, oh, wait, now I'm in the, kind of the working area part of town, so it's kind of cool. So you have that. So you have all these outs to explore. You're going to go around. Then you can go to Coyoacan and see more of the cobblestone kind of historical parts. But honestly, it is a really fantastic thing. And I got to tell you, don't get burned out with all the churches around the city, because yes, it is great, but there are tons. Well, I got to go to talk about more. Now, if you're coming to Mexico City, one thing you want to make sure you don't forget to do and don't pass up is going out to the pyramids at Teotihuacan, because it is an incredible experience when you go out there, when you see the Temple of the Moon, the Temple of the Sun. But I want to tell you, don't forget to keep going down and going to the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. That is probably the coolest one when you're going there and you see the heads and everything on the backside. Climb up, look down in there and go down into it. It is incredible, but so many people only go to the Moon, Temple of the Moon, and they see the Temple of the Sun, and then they go back. No, keep walking, keep exploring, because it is such a cool experience to have when you are here in Mexico City. Now, when you're in Teotihuacan, you might be thinking, oh, it's like Chichen Itza when I go to Cancun, so it's something similar. Look, I want to tell you this. Don't bring your Cancun-ness here to Mexico City. Cancun is a beach town where you pay in dollars, and they have ATMs that give you dollars, and you can speak English all the time. Look, you're not in Cancun. This is a city with art, history, so many great museums, so many city things, food from here in Mexico, but from all over the world you could enjoy. So don't think of this as a Cancun extension, which a lot of people do. You're not wearing your beach clothes, people. There's no beaches here, all right? Because there is a level of sophistication here in Mexico City that when you're here, you really see it and you'll feel it when you're here. And with the sophistication, also you're going to notice gentrification. If you're in Roma or Contessa, you're going to notice there's a lot of English spoken. There's a lot of expats that moved in. And I'm going to tell you, don't think the locals super appreciate all the expats that moved into some of these neighborhoods and made it too expensive for the locals to live there. So something to kind of think about. And that's why I want to tell you, don't be going like, oh, Mexico City's so cheap. I talked about that before, but that's one of those things that kind of upsets the locals, and you don't want to do that when you're here. Now, one of the best parts coming to Mexico City is the eating. And I got to tell you this, don't pass up the street food when you're here. Because yes, you could get the tacos al pastor, which are from Mexico City. Though I'm going to tell you, the suadero tacos are so much better. That is the best one. But going to the street stands, get your tacos there is going to be great. Or you get yourself a torta, a sandwich, and you get torta de chilaquiles. So you get chilaquiles in your torta. Yeah, it is incredible. but there's so much great food you're gonna have when you are here that you don't want to pass it up. That's why it's important to make those reservations for restaurants you want to go to.
In Mexico City, don't forget to stop at the bakeries. They have amazing baked goods and you can sit down and eat at your leisure. And also, desayuno, breakfast goes until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can stop in and get a little snack anytime you want.
And another thing I think you remember is don't forget here in Mexico City when you go out for breakfast, tamales can be a breakfast thing when you are here. And when you go to the restaurants, don't forget you do tip 10 to 15% for normal service. If you want to like really good, you can go up to 20%, that's fine, but 10 to 15 is kind of the going rate. And if you're going to pay with credit cards, you need to tell them how much you want to put as a tip and they put it all together. Or you can just pay with your credit card and then pay cash on the side for that, or you pay cash, you give it all to them. But tipping is definitely a thing when you're here, whether you're going out to restaurants, grocery store, your hotel for the service staff, with your guides. So make sure you have money to make sure you're tipping. And then I really want to mention this. When you're coming to Mexico City, don't think that it's going to be hot all the time. We're at a high elevation, so you do have a very strong sun all year round, but you're not necessarily going to be warm all the time, all right? So don't forget to bring a jacket when you're coming here, because you know what? Nighttime, you can go from 80 until in the 50s, okay? So just be prepared for that if you're coming here in the wintertime. So something to think about. And when you are packing that jumper to take with you, also, don't forget to throw in some extra packs of napkins for you, because you might need them when you go to the bathroom here, because you might need that for the public toilets, because they might not have toilet paper for you, or you might need to pay a little extra for it. So make sure you have those there. Don't forget, the toilet paper goes in the bin, not in the toilet, okay? And most of the places you're gonna go. Anyway, what are some of the don'ts of Mexico City that I missed? Please let us know in the comments below so we can have other travelers enjoy this fantastic city. And I'll say adios or hasta luego from here in Mexico City.